Hi students of class 10 CBSC, I am here with 100 dresses part 1 from your book First Flight. Now student, as I told you, the reading has 3 phases: pre-reading, while reading and post-reading. Okay? So before we go into while reading, I will take up some questions from pre-reading part. Pre-reading part will prepare us for the lesson. And here are some issues which has been raised here. 100 dresses part 1. How do we judge the people around us? By their money, wealth and positions, or is there something of more enduring value to look for in a person? Generally in this world, how we judge people, how we form opinions about people, what are the criterias? Wealth, if a person is rich, he is thought highly of. If a person is good looking, he is also thought or she is thought highly of. Or is it some inner worth, inner quality, which is of more enduring nature, which is of permanent nature? Do we care for that? Or things are only externals? Wealth, riches, look, external things. Do we judge people by their external appearances or by their internal qualities? Is a moot point. And this story will reveal to you. A person's external appearance becomes the basis for the judgment of the people about her. How she looks, how she dresses becomes the basis for their opinions about her. Or is it her inner quality which comes to light later on in the story? This story is a story of a Polish girl who studies in an American school, and she is discriminated against there. She is an object of ridicule and fun there. And how does she grapple with this problem? And how she surprises other children of the same school is the story. To begin with, she is judged by her dresses. In fact, dress, she had only dress, one dress. And later on, they discover her real worth, her real qualities which are inside her. And these inside qualities come to a fore, come outside. This is how she is judged. The girl is Wanda Petronsky. She is a Polish girl. She studies in an American school. Mostly there are American girls in the classroom. And because her name is strange, Wanda Petronsky, which is unlike American, Smith, Ellen, Thomas and all such names. So her name creates interest in other students, and because they find the name is so different, this also makes them to poke fun at her, to target her. It is Monday and she did not come to school, but nobody noticed her presence. Nobody. Actually, her usual seat in the classroom was the corner seat around the last benches, second last bench. She sat in the corner, and there all the rough boys who were not interested in study, who scored not good marks, they sat there. And they were mostly noisy and boisterous. But you may think that she was also like that. No, she was contrary to, opposite to the boys who sat around her. She kept mum. She did not talk anything in the classroom. She was completely mute. But boys around her were boisterous. They scuffled their feet, they stamped their feet, they laughed if they heard anything funny in the classroom. They were not so much interested in study. Actually, while in the classroom, nobody took notice of Wanda Petronsky. They were interested when she was coming to school. There they surrounded her and poked fun at her. And the girl who led the way was Peggy, who was a smart girl, who came from a rich family. She was good looking, pretty. She had curly hair. She had so many dresses. And she was the most popular girl in the school. But here, she led the way along with other girls. She surrounded Wanda Petronsky and asked questions, and they all laughed at her. This Peggy had a friend. Her name was Maddie. Maddie was an inseparable part of Peggy. She always was with her. She also joined company. Okay. So this was the situation. And as long as Wenda was inside the classroom, nobody was interested in her because she was a quiet person. But on the way to school or during the break time, they were interested in her and they surrounded her in the yard and poked fun at her because her name was strange and because every day she had one dress on her, only dress on her. It was fading blue color. It was clean but not properly ironed and it was ill-fitting on her. That's why, because she came from police background, she was a police girl and her name was strange and she wore only dress, she became an object of ridicule and laughter in the school. Okay. Actually her name was strange. Her name was unlike American names, Smith, Thompson, Allen. There was one boy whose name was Willie Bones. His name was funny, but Petronsky was funnier than other names. So this also created interest in other American girls and boys, and they thought that Wenda Petronsky was different from other boys and girls. Actually, who planned all this? It was Peggy who thought up this plan. Actually, she must have observed that Wenda came to school in the same dress every day. It was faded blue, ill-fitting on her, and she wore this dress to school every day. So Peggy must have observed this, and her friend Maddie and others, they surrounded her before they came to school. They waited for Wenda to enter the school, and in the schoolyard they surrounded her and asked this question: Wenda, how many dresses did you say you had? She replied, 100. 100 of same color? No, of all colors and all designs, all lined up in my closet. And she spoke this in such a cold manner without showing any feeling or emotion, and then she walked away. And she had not gone far, they would burst into laughter. They felt incredulous that what a nonsense, this girl comes to school in only one dress, but she says she has 100 dresses. They would laugh at her. Then another day they would ask her, Wenda, how many shoes do you have? 60 pairs. Of the same color? No, of all colors, all lined up in my closet. And she gave reply to this question in such a cold and indifferent manner. And when she had walked few steps away to the school, they would laugh. And this was everyday affairs. Actually, Peggy was not a cruel girl. As such, when big boys bullied the young ones, she protected them. When animals were mistreated or treated badly, she would cry. By no stretch of imagination, she could be called a cruel girl. If anybody had asked her, Ki Peggy, is this not cruelty to Wenda Petronsky that you ask her the same question every day? She would have said, no, cruelty? How is it a cruelty? Because that girl, what a barefaced liar she is. Every day she tells me she has 100 dresses and she comes in only dress every day, that faded blue one. And she says she has 100 dresses. Is she not a liar? And I did not make her cry. So is it a cruelty? No, this is not a cruelty. Her friend, as I told you, her inseparable friend who was like her shadow was Maddie. Maddie also came from poor family, like Wenda Petronsky came from a poor family. Actually, she came from the place called Boggins Heights. It was a poor locality. And when Wenda came to school, her feet was covered with dry mud. And Maddie also came from the poor family. Actually, Maddie was bothered about the way Wenda was being treated. She feared that she herself was a poor girl. Next will be her turn. Next she would be targeted. So she was worried about herself. Actually, she did not have any sympathy for Wenda Petronsky. She was worried about her own future because she too did not have many dresses. The dresses that she had was Peggy's. Her mother had only trimmed with red trappings, and to disguise its identity. But she did not have many dresses. So she thought that after they are fed up with Wanda Petronsky, then they will turn their attention on Maddie. Maddie feared for herself that being a poor girl, they may target her too. So she thought that if they stopped ridiculing and joking and poking fun at Wanda Petronsky, I think this game will be all over. Actually, she did not have any sympathy for Wanda Petronsky. She was worried for herself. She was a poor girl like Wanda, though she was not as poor as Wanda looked, but she feared for herself. So she wanted this game to be stopped. But the problem with her was that she did not have courage to take up the matter with Peggy, her close friend. And Peggy was a very popular, smart and front-ranking girl in the school. She could not gather enough courage to talk to her that what does she do, play this game on Wanda Petronsky. She could not gather courage. Next day it was arithmetic class and Maddie was sitting in her class. She looked worried. She wanted to solve maths, but her mind was on Wanda Petronsky. Then the idea came to her mind that she should talk to Peggy, but she did not have nerve. She did not have courage to talk to Peggy about this matter. And she knew that Peggy would be annoyed. Peggy was her best friend. Then she thought of making a small note, writing a small letter to Peggy, requesting her not to play this game on Wanda. But again, here too, she could not gather enough courage. So she tore off the small note that she had made. She hoped that, who knows, Peggy would stop herself on her own accord, stop teasing Wanda Petronsky, and things will be all over. Next day, Peggy and Maddie started for school. It was drizzling. They were under the same umbrella. They were talking about the contest for the boys and girls. Actually, a competition was going on in the school. Boys had been asked to create the designs of motorboats and girls were asked to create dress designs. And Maddie hoped that Peggy would win because she was a wonderful painter. She drew very well and she hoped, actually she was very much sure that Peggy would win the contest. But when they reached school, they were in for the greatest surprise of their life. There were 100 designs of dresses, beautiful dresses designed all over the walls of this classroom. Actually, lavish, bright, colorful designs of dresses were all over this classroom. On the walls of the classroom, on the ledge, on the windowsills, everywhere. They were surprised and they could not understand who had done all this. Later on, the class teacher, Miss Mason, announced that among the boys, Jack Bagels had won the first prize and his design had been put on display in room number 12 and the sketches of other boys. But she said, hold breath. Students, hold breath. All the 100 dresses and designs that you see all around you have been created by that girl, Wanda Petronsky. They were all taken by surprise. They were all created by Wanda Petronsky. They could not believe their eyes. And she further added that the judge had announced that each of the design was capable of winning the first prize. Peggy was speechless. So was Maddie, but all the boys and girls were celebrating. Teacher then asked them to file up and move around the classroom to observe the great creations. She expressed her regret that Wanda was not present on that day to hear the applause of her friends and appreciation and get the prize. But she hoped that she would be coming next day. And now, only comment that Peggy could make was that, I wish I could draw like her. So this is the surprise here. Actually, what I told you in the beginning, that people are judged by their external appearances, external qualities and looks. But here, Wanda was also judged on the basis of her dress, her ordinary dress, and the only one dress she came in to school. She was judged by her dress, but now she has proven that she had something enduring, she had something permanent, she had something valuable inside her, an artist inside her, which created those 100 designs. Okay, students? So it takes time when your inner worth comes out. It takes time. People will first judge you by your appearance, by your background, by your look, by your wealth, riches, and dresses, all such things. And in this way, Wanda Petroinski proved that she had great thing inside her. She had a priceless quality of being a great artist. She could imagine, she could plan, she could create, and she surprised everybody that inside she was a pure gem, pure artist. But students like Peggy, Maddie and others all judged her with her dress only. She had only one dress. But later on, she proved that she had 100 those dresses shaping up in her mind, in her heart. So this is how she surprised everybody, stunned everybody, and it was a brilliant contributions that she had made. Students, I am sure you have understood everything that I taught today. Keep revising. Wish you all the best. Keep smiling. Have a wonderful day. Please subscribe to my channel. Follow my classes thoroughly. May God bless you. Have a nice day.